Okay. Well, again, I don't even know what day it is. Why do I always do that? I do know it's 8 days till Christmas because my granddaughter's been calling me every morning early. This morning she called me at like 7:30 to open her advent calendar, and we shared sunrises. And she reminded me that it's 8 days till Christmas. But I wanted to do a little update. I haven't for a few days because I just went on a serious binge of working really hard to finish a lot of things, and I'm so close to finishing so many things. And there's this scene in an old movie called Romancing the Stone that I probably watched the first time when I was a teenager. I don't remember. Has Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, and Kathleen Turner is an author in it. And I think the movie actually opens up with this scene, or at least it's what I remember as the first scene. She's finishing. She's an author and she writes novels, and she's finishing this book, and she is just like a mess. She's in her pajamas and looks like she hasn't showered for a really long time. She's only with their cat. Her house is completely trashed. And she's just crying because of how the story ended, because she didn't know how the story was going to end either. But she was just a complete mess. Because now I remember I totally identifying with that as even as young as I was. I'm wearing my grandma's cape today. But I have thought about that so many times when I've finished a project that I've been working really, really hard on, and it feels surprising. You don't know when it's going to be finished, but then all of a sudden it's finished, and it's so emotional. And also you have completely gone to this other realm and not gotten dressed or showered or eaten, or I remember she was feeding her cat something. It was like she was out of groceries. Her house was completely trashed. She was completely trashed, but she finally finished. And that's kind of how I feel right now. If you looked around and saw my apartment, whoops, it's such a mess. I just have stuff everywhere. But I have been working really hard on 3 huge humongous projects simultaneously. And what I do is I go from one to the next. Like I'll time block it out. I have, I'll even show you some of these. I have these little, this one is half an hour. This one's an hour. This one's 5 minutes. This one's 30 minutes. This one's 15 minutes. And I just, I block time out, and I work on something for a certain amount of time, and then I have to move on to the next thing. And I gave myself some incredibly aggressive deadlines, like I always do. But I had, like I've talked about over and over, I had things just happen, and that's the thing, is things always happen in the middle of it all, that I had to drop everything and take care of. But somehow, I wanted to finish 3 books by the end of the year. One of them only needed the introduction written. One of them is 50 Roads, which is definitely going to be done by the end of the year. I've been getting it edited chapter by chapter, so the last few chapters will get edited, and then it'll get laid out, and it'll be done, and I'll be able to start delivering it by the end of January, which is awesome. And then I have a book called Everyday Decision Making that I've been working on for at least a year. That's the one that I have just have to write the introduction to. And then I made a journal to go with 50 Roads, a cut and paste journal that's going to go with the online course that I create. And that's really beautiful. And so I stop and do that. And then I also sold a whole bunch of paintings to go with pre-orders. And so I've been working on those. And then I've also been learning how to do some really cool stuff that I've been wanting to do for a long time. In fact, I'll just show you. I have so many secret things. I made this out of resin. I poured it out of resin. It's a lengthy process to do, and it's a lot to figure out. This is just a little tray, but I've been making all sorts of things out of it. I live in a place where I actually can see things like this, beautiful geodes and rocks and geological formations. But I wanted to learn how to make a new kind of art. And so I've been making a lot of resin, doing a lot of painting. I got a Cricut machine because I have some amazing ideas for that, for cutting things. And so I just have this laboratory going that I'm not ready to show yet, ready to show the things. And I'm actually starting up again as an art teacher, as well as, you know, soul work. It's just creative soul searching. It's art healing. And so I'm marrying the two things together, but I'm going to be doing more art than I've done in years and years and years, and incorporating that into all my work. And then I've also been creating, you know, pulling a lifetime of work together, showing people how to be an art healer. I'm certifying, you know, 100 and some people right now to utilize my teaching methods. And that's what I've been working really, really hard on, pulling things out from historical things, but also mostly creating a brand new curriculum. And I think I've got, oh gosh, so many videos. I just uploaded another, I don't know, 3 hours of videos or something in the classroom for that. And so the ups and downs of this are so so massive. I get so exhausted that I go to bed at like 8 o'clock, and then I get up at 3, 4, 5. Sometimes if I'm lucky, I can sleep until 6. But and then I just get going immediately as soon as I wake up, so that I can use the first morning energy, and then I go as long as I can. Like yesterday, I went till 2:30, and then I just hit a wall. And so I just let my computer upload a bunch of the videos, and I watched a movie. And if any of you guys watch Dexter, people have been telling me to watch that for years. I just barely started watching it yesterday, and I don't know if it's for me or not. I love the guy. It's a weird kind of love, you know, but anyway, I just am, first of all, I'm grateful, so grateful for all the people that have been supporting me through this, through Patreon and encouragement. And just I have a little handful, it's more than a hands full of people who contact me at least once a week to encourage me to keep going with getting my work back out there, because it's been such a hard thing for so many reasons. That keeps me going. So please don't ever discount or think it's small when you have a prompting to reach out to somebody and give them a little bit of encouragement, because of a lot of things that I can't talk about that are going on. It's like I'm facing a lot. I have to decide every day, like, how I'm going to keep going, because of things that are going on in my personal life are heavy and difficult. But I don't know. I've said a lot of times, like the last few years, especially, I'm going to say three, almost 4 years, have felt like life or death for so many reasons. And I think there are a lot of times in life when we have to choose life or death. And I feel like it has to turn into a habit to choose life over and over again. And by choosing life, I mean not getting swallowed into all the deaths, all of the loss, all of the things that feel like death, whether it's depression or whether it's real circumstances that feel like death. Life and death are such an unavoidable part of life. And the thing that I know that I have to focus on is birth often can't happen until death happens. So what was has to be done before what is ready to be born can be born. And so that's been the process that I've been going through a lot, is just so many deaths, so many deaths of so many things. And so that the choice every day is to whether to get swallowed up in it or to actually not bypass it, but let yourself grieve, and also focus on where you're headed, instead of focusing on where you want to get away from, but what doesn't exist anymore. Like I've been thinking so much, like I want to be a courageous person and not run away from things, but sometimes the things don't even exist anymore. And so you have to just, like, I think about those tornadoes that just happened in our country last week, and is it Kentucky? Is that where they happened? In the South? And I was looking at the pictures of those, and if someone ever said, oh, you ran away from your problems or whatever, you ran away from whatever, it's like, look at that, you know. Sometimes you have to rebuild where you are, and sometimes you have to start over, completely over somewhere else for lots of reasons. And that's what my life has been. It's just been a big, complicated bunch of puzzles to be solved, that, you know, might sometimes look like I disappeared, I ran away, whatever. It's so much different than that. And I can't talk about the details of that, but when you can't, when there are things that you have to hold to your own chest, and you're the only person that knows about them, you've really got to be your own ally and not gaslight yourself. I've been thinking about that term, gaslighting, a lot, because you know, my therapist told me to study that, and I did. And gaslighting is just when people try to convince you that something didn't happen that actually happened, and they do it in all sorts of ways. But you can also do that to yourself. And that's the thing that I have just decided to focus on, is I don't care what other people are doing or trying to do, or what I'm perceiving they're trying to do to me or my life or my loved ones or whatever. Like, I'm just done thinking about that. But I have to think about what I do to myself. And I think there's so many times when we gaslight ourselves. We tell ourselves, oh, it didn't happen. That didn't happen. That wasn't that bad. And you can actually make yourself go crazy doing that. And so one of the last chapters in my book is about taking your own gaslight back. You know, that whole term came from this movie from, I think, the 30s or the 40s, 1930s or 1940s, where a guy was trying to make his wife think she was crazy, and the way, because he wanted to take her money and a bunch of other stuff. And the way he would do it is he would go in the house and he would turn the gas lights up and down, and she'd be like, it feels like it's getting darker. And he's like, no, it's the same as it was. And feels like it's getting lighter, and no, it's the same as it was, until she literally went crazy. And I've just been thinking a lot about how, you know, as somebody who's been so gullible a lot of my life and just believed anything anybody said, I think a lot of people are like that. I think it's a shame that we can't just believe everything people say. That's one of the things that's tragic in this world, I think, is that we can't believe, you know, we can't just automatically believe what people say. Like, I want to live in a world where you can do that. But what I've realized is the only way to keep safe and keep from being gaslighted is to take your own gaslight back. And that means, you know, a gaslight's kind of like an oil lamp, and it's really bright, and that's how people used to light up their houses and things. I've just decided, like, if you take your own gaslight back and it has this little metal key, and you just turn it up as bright as you can, you turn up your light as bright as you can, then anybody that comes towards your gaslight and wants to turn it up or down and tell you that it's not up and it's not down, you make your light so bright that their hand will actually burn if they get anywhere close to it. And that's the approach that I've decided to take, is just don't let anybody near my light, my gaslight. Like, I'm the one that controls whether it's bright or whether it's dim. And so then, and no one else can even touch it. And that's not in a cynical way, but I think that's a responsible way. And what I wish is all of us would just turn our lights all the way up. And I know sometimes, you know, you got to heal in low light. And that's where I've been the last couple of years, where I had to turn my light way down just so that I could rest and heal. But I'm at a place right now where I'm just going to blare it. I'm going to turn it up as bright as it can possibly go. While that feels good, you know, while I want to see my next steps. That's what I need. I need a bright light to be able to see my next steps, which also means anybody that's coming with ill intent will be exposed, because I won't be in the dark. I won't be keeping all these secrets. And also, if anybody, you know, wants to come turn the light up or down, they can't. It's too hot, you know. And that's what I hope all of us will do. That's where I'm at. I can see how tired I look. I've had a lot of people say, man, you look really tired in your videos. I am. I'm really, really tired. And my eyes are tired, but I'm happy and at peace. And I'm proud of myself. Like, I have planned, filmed, and edited all my own videos, uploaded, which is quite a task to upload videos. that are big. It takes hours and hours and hours. Even that, I didn't realize how much time that takes. I have planned and written a book that's well over 110,000 words, 50 chapters. And I have another book that goes with it. And then, published it myself and built my own online school with the help of my friend Anne, who's helped me so much. And I'm proud of myself because I've done things that I didn't think that I could ever do. And I've learned how to build websites and online schools and write copy. And there's a million things that I wish I could be doing better right now, mostly in the realm of relationships. Like, thank goodness my children and my husband and my little family here, West and Cami, totally understand what I'm doing right now. And so they're not upset with me when I have to say no to pretty much everything right now so that I can get this done and get our life back on track. But I just got to say, I used to look for a lot of outside validation, and I just am proud of myself. I am my own validator. I am my own friend. And that's probably been one of the greatest gifts of this time of seclusion over the last couple of years. That happened initially just to help my husband get the help he needed to move to a sunny place and help his brain to heal. It turned out to be my greatest healing. It's been lonely. It's been hard. So many parts of it have been absolutely devastating. But I learned that when I have people in my life, it's going to be because I'm choosing it, not because I'm desperate for it and I need it. And it's not going to be a codependent relationship. It's going to be two strong people standing next to each other and owning our own everything. No blame, no shame, no codependency, just love and support next to each other, owning our own stuff. And that's what I've grown into. Someone who can take care of myself, someone who can do things on my own, someone who doesn't need outside validation. And that feels really good. So this is a lot, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a vulnerability hangover because I just said a lot of really vulnerable things this morning. Like I said, I have just kind of been in sweats and pajamas and finishing all this stuff, and I looked like a mess, and I was like, I'm going to go find a furry cape or something, and I found my grandma's beautiful leopard cape. And that's what I put on today. This is going to be my new uniform when I need a hug from the other side, and when I feel like I made my ancestors proud. I think I have. I think my grandmother would be really proud of me today, and I'm proud of myself. And I think probably that's one of the things she'd be most proud of, is how proud I am of myself, that I've finally come to a place where I can say, I'm freaking proud of myself, because I am. And anyway, that's today's check-in. I love you. Mwah.